AMD. So AMD reported after the bell. The stock is up. Now, when I show you these numbers that AMD just reported, you're going to be like, how is AMD stock up? These numbers are, put simply, a dumpster fire. And if you are an AMD shareholder, you're going to look at these numbers and say, yeah, that's a dumpster fire. As an AMD shareholder, it's a dumpster fire, right? I don't personally own AMD, although I do think it's a great company. These numbers are awful. Absolutely disastrous awful, okay? Revenue was down 18% for the company. Gross profit was down 19% for the company. Operating income or loss was down 104% for the company, which means they went from being very profitable last year at this time to now losing money on an operating loss basis, essentially, okay? That's insane. Like, you don't usually see a number over 100% very often. That's just sad. The net income is down 94% year over year. And those are all GAAP numbers, okay? Generally accepted accounting principles. Awful. Absolutely awful. But maybe their guidance was great. Maybe that's why the stock is up, right? They guided to $5.7 billion plus or minus $300 million. Okay, so $5.7 million is the number to keep in mind here. Well, analysts were expecting $5.8 billion. So that's a no bueno situation, right? That's no bueno. Like, the numbers are awful. The guidance is below what analysts have for the company. It's bad, bad, bad. But why is the stock up? Very simply, I'll put it like this, okay? 2024, the company is expected to get back to like 20% type growth, okay? And so everybody's looking past these really bad numbers right now, and they believe that in 2024, in future years, AMD's numbers are going to get much better. Their AMD chips, their AI-related chips are going to start selling really well in 2024 and moving into future years, and it's going to start generating big revenues again. The profitability is going to skyrocket. The margins will skyrocket for the company. So that's why everybody's looking past these really bad numbers in the short term, and they're saying, brighter days are ahead in 2024 and beyond. So even though these numbers are horrible, it's just getting all this bad news out, and then the story just is going to get better and better as we tick along through the remainder of this year, and especially in 2024. Now, we've got to still waiting for that to play out, but nonetheless, investors are getting excited kind of ahead of time. Remember, AMD was all the way down to like $55 a share back around Q4 of 2022. So the stock's over doubled up now at this point in time. Now, when it comes to AMD, they're getting their lunch eaten in the short term by NVIDIA. NVIDIA is absolutely, if this was a fight, it wouldn't even be a close fight. Like, AMD would have been knocked out by now, okay? NVIDIA is blowing AMD away. AMD is shrinking their business while NVIDIA is putting up ridiculous growth right now, okay? So in the short term, NVIDIA is owning AMD. We'll see what happens long term. Maybe AMD can play catch up here and get into the AI market as much as NVIDIA is, but let's just call it what it is. AMD is getting their lunch eaten by NVIDIA right now. There's no way anybody could tell you anything different. The numbers are the numbers. So that's a very intriguing kind of story here. NVIDIA is just a better setup short term. AMD is a better potential setup long term because there's just so much bad news kind of already baked into AMD versus NVIDIA is obviously an opposite situation. So it's going to be a fun battle to watch as kind of the years tick on, okay? This is really strictly for letting me know what's going on in the market in general is I have a travel watch list. The reason I have this is on a day like today, I like to say, is this a recession concern? Because I can tell you, if all these big moves you're seeing were recession related, like, oh, I'm scared recession, travel stocks would get hit huge, okay? And what we're seeing today is travel stocks are not getting hit like that, right? Southwest actually is green today. Ubity Booba stocks down only 1%, Delta down 1%, United Airlines down 1%, MGM down 1.5%. So today's drop is not a recession fear drop, okay? So I think that is important. We all understand that. Solar Edge Technologies is down, oh my gosh, almost 20% here today. What a massive move. You guys know me, I don't like any of these solar-related stocks, especially right now in this sort of market with the interest rate environment the way it is. Solar's just very expensive. I was speaking with a friend yesterday. He was saying if he got solar at cost for his house, he's talking about $60,000 at cost. He's saying usually that would be $80,000 to $100,000 for a house like his. I'm like, that's ridiculous. And just that's in high interest rate environment, that's just not ideal. And he was saying, well, if you got a loan, it'd be like 10% interest rates. It's ridiculous. So anything in relation to solar is just not in right now. And it's not going to be in until interest rate environment changes, okay? So this is bad news for all those. I don't even like Tesla being in the solar business. You guys know my opinion on that. I want Tesla to actually leave the solar business. I know that's a hot take, okay, controversial statement. I'd rather Tesla just get out of the solar business. I love solar technology, but the business of solar is not good, okay? And I don't see it being good anytime soon until eventually the Fed has to drop rates because of a massive recession. But if there's a massive recession, do you think that's going to be good for these solar stocks? No. So they're in just a really tough place for years to go in the future. Generac Holdings they lost almost a quarter of their value here today. This stock's down over 24 flipping flapjacking percent here today. I mean, what an insane move. But a stock like this, okay, this was, during Rona, it was a hot play. Everybody wanted a piece of Generac, right? With everything that was going on, it led a lot of people to be very fearful of many things, okay? So Rona, the shutdowns, people forced to be home, and then you saw the riots and the protests and all that stuff that's going on in the city. And a lot of people start thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm scared, I got to protect my home and my family, so I need to get a generator just in case, the whole world ends or something like that. And so a business like that saw a huge uptick, and now they have the come down of that, right? It's actually a good company. I don't know if it's a stock I'd personally own, but I actually have no problem probably, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually a great buying opportunity over the next few months in a company like this, okay? Scotts Miracle-Gro is another perfect example of a company that, and I'll tell you if I think this is actually a good buy or not in terms of Scotts Miracle-Gro, but this is another one that benefited huge from Rona. When Rona was going on, the shutdowns were going on, everything like that, 2020 through obviously 2022, so many people got into gardening and just all this weird, I don't want to say weird stuff, okay, but all this stuff that people would never have considered because they're forced to be home, and then all of a sudden they're like, let me start buying plants, and let me buy a garden, and let me do this and do that, and let me, take care of my backyard and front yard better than I used to in the past, right? And a company like Scotts Miracle-Gro saw a huge uptick from that. I mean, Scotts Miracle-Gro went parabolic. It's insane. Scotts Miracle-Gro went from a little over a $50 stock to, $250 a share or so in a matter of about a year. You gotta be flipping my flapjacks. That was insane, right? And now it's back to a $50-something stock, right? The come down has happened for that. Companies like this, companies like Generac, companies like Scotts Miracle-Gro, they don't have unlimited growth. This is not a Palantir. This is not a Tesla or some of these other companies that can just keep growing and growing for decades and decades in terms of high growth rates. These companies have certain market segments. They continue to put up those numbers. They can have some freak stuff that happens every once in a while. Now, in terms of do I think a Scotts Miracle-Gro is actually a buying opportunity? For a stock like this, I will say yes. Okay, a stock like this is actually a good buying opportunity if you're a long-term investor. How it performs over the next 3-6 months, I have no clue. But I would not be surprised at all if this stock does very, very well over the next 3 to 6 years. A company like Scotts Miracle-Gro, at the end of the day, it's still going to be a business that's highly relevant 5 years from now that it is today, okay? And so that's that. Next one up here, Paycom Software, down about 19% here today. This one, did they report some sort of disaster numbers or something like that? No. At the end of the day, this is just a valuation moment for the stock, right? Valuation trades high on the stock, and I think it's just a lot of people. The thing you got to understand about a market like this is a lot of people are looking for a reason to sell some stocks. A lot of stocks have been performing tremendous. A lot of people are just looking for give me a reason, and we got that reason. But that's what it comes down to with a lot of these stocks, and you can see some absolutely epic sell-offs in some of these stocks. And Paycom Software is a perfect example of just feeling the pain here today, right?